value supporting that. There's no gold at Fort Knox that backs this money up. It's just a belief
There used to
of its
be
value. Yes.
something called gold
Standard.
standard,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And President Nixon took us off of that in 1971. And if you look historically, when we got off the gold standard, that's when you got off the gold standard and you got into the fiat currency, that allowed the Federal Reserve, that we can talk about in a later discussion, to print recklessly. I don't know how to say it. But so when I discovered that they were pumping billions of dollars last year into the market to cover debts, because all money is debt, by the way, that's when I got concerned, because something was broken in the system that we were accustomed to, and we were going to pay for it somewhere down the line. And what you were alluding to is this illness that's going on right now is also creating the shortages for food. People are stopping to work, stay home, stay safe, and that slogan that they're using now, and the fear of people getting sick is keeping them in their homes. So now the food plants are shutting down. There's no, there's this battle going on, and I didn't want to get in, don't want to get into that discussion, but when they're printing money to fix everything, now there's an oversupply of cash. And when there's an oversupply of cash, that brings in inflation, and we've been seeing inflation over, if you've been paying attention. I don't know what a gallon of milk is anymore, but I know at one point it was like $1.69, and years and years ago, I heard it's as high as $4 or $5 for a gallon now. So when there's certain staple items that they measure inflation with, and those staple items that everybody would buy, they measure it every year after year, and that's how they come up with the inflation rate. So now the inflation rate, when there's oversupply of cash, monetarily it should drive up, because there's more supply of cash. It's not in our pockets, obviously, than there is for goods. And now the shortage of goods is going to accelerate this problem. And those are the things you're talking about that's coming, that we can be expecting to come. And this is not to instill fear. This is to prepare. It's a lot different when you're reacting to something instead of being proactive to something. So.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, I watched a documentary because I've been trying to learn a little about, as I said, I've never had a course.
Neither have I, by the way.
Economics. Maybe I think in high school, but you know how things are in high school. You
right.
just want to
get out
your class. You're not really paying that much attention. Yeah. But I did learn that that there are one of the things that makes up economy is the buying and selling of things, and this creates cycles, like hundreds and thousands and even millions of cycles of money transferring and increasing. And what's happening, I understand, because of the shutdown, is the cycles are starting, they're stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And so the productivity, the capacity, I understand, for example, one figure, I don't know if I print, oh yeah, I did, 44% of the U.S. economy, which is approximately 2/3, is small businesses. So small businesses are the lifeblood of the U.S. economy, right? And they create 40%. Now, the experts are saying that up to 80% of these small businesses, that's kind of maybe the worst case.
Mm-hmm.
Best case scenario is maybe 30% may not be able to recover,
right,
and go back, because a lot of them have they work off such slim resources. Yeah. But once there's no longer the transferring, if I don't have anything to buy from you, you don't have anything to sell. When that gets so bad, things just kind of the system breaks down.
Right. Well, what you're describing is the velocity of money. The velocity is coming to a screeching halt, pretty much, unless you're going to Costco or Walmart or something like that. But those aren't small businesses, right? But like, remember what I said before last year. the inflation was already going up because these things were happening behind the scenes and we weren't paying attention to, with this repo market and the daily investment that the Federal Reserve had to inject into the to market to keep it from crashing. That leads to believe, and for the most part, people were already running at thin margins and competition. The capitalism keeps things cheap because you find better ways to provide a better service and or good at a cheaper price, because that's what we all look for is our value of goods. So then comes shutdown, and if I'm not prepared for the shutdown, which most people weren't, uh, you got to have a cash reserve. Even the big companies, like my wife, Delta Airlines, Adriana works for them. They're struggling. They're right now losing 60 million a day. And how long do you expect them to survive? In long term, and this has been going on for over a month now. So that's we're in the billions now. So who's got that much money saved up
And you know
for
what
bad
else?
times?
What else is happening is because folks are so frightened about the COVID-19. A lot of folks are saying, even when it does open, I'm not going. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going back to the restaurant. I'm not going to get on a plane. I'm not going to go to a movie theater because they're just afraid to. I
Yep.
mean, it's just going to aggravate
Yep.
this already
Yep.
hurting uh, economy.
Yes. Real estate is that's what I deal in, and what I'm finding is people don't want, like, I need to sell my house because I have a job or whatever, I'm moving, I need to sell my house. They don't want people coming through their house because they don't know, to sell the house. So now you have that, and people don't want to go into other people's houses. So the housing market is kind of freezing up right now.
Yeah, I think I heard one commentator say that the banks are actually becoming a lot more stringent on who they're going to loan money out to
Hmm.
today.
I
So,
did hear Chase. I believe it's Chase. They For house loans, they've lowered their standards quite a bit to make. We were re-entering 2008 again. Again, this had the virus accelerated things. I want to be clear on that. We were already heading in this direction. So Chase now has said you have to have a credit score better than 700, I think, to be considered for a home loan. So those standards are going to start rising up. They're going to start tightening down the money supply. So.
well, look at these couple verses that talk about the importance of being prepared. Um, the this is Proverbs 6 and 8. Look to the ant. This version says, "You sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores up its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." In other words, it's preparing for the future.
Mm-hmm.
There's another proverb that in 13:12 it says, "A good person, a righteous man," is literally what it says, "leaves an inheritance for their children's children." I mean, their grandchildren, like they're thinking
Mm-hmm.
ahead. But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. And then the last one here, Proverbs 21:7. "The wise have wealth and luxury,